on We Got Your Mail, and don't worry about what's gonna go on right there. You'll see the questions about to scroll up. So We Got Your Mail. You send me a email, mail@t3medias.com. You say, ask me anything you want to talk about, anything movie related, TV related, or just something just to me. It doesn't matter. And it will be entered in. I want to do either a raffle or a drawing or something like that. But I'm gonna use what you bring to me, and I'm gonna honor you, and I'm gonna reward you for being a contributor to We Got Your Mail, because I like doing We Got Your Mail, and I want to help people out. So I said at the beginning of the show, and I want to say it again. So whenever you send me an official email at mail@t3medias.com, you will either be, if there's a multitude of emails, then I'll do like a drawing. If it's just one, you got it. Or if it's just a few and there's a clear best question versus the other two, then I'll just give it to that person. But it all depends. But 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be a drawing. A chance to win a gift card. So you like going to the movies or whatever your favorite thing is, and I'll contribute to it. I'm gonna send a gift card off to, maybe if you like going to AMC, I'll do an AMC or Regal, whatever your favorite movie theater is. Or if you have something else, if you want some money to be given on to your Netflix account, I'll cover a couple of those months, for bringing in and contributing to the We Got Your Mail segment. So send those emails in. That's the new thing. I want to encourage more conversations. I want to encourage more dialogue. So if you do send an official email, I like the emails and I like the questions that are sent in on Twitter and everything like that at t3medias.com. But I really want those emails, guys. So send me an email, and you have a chance to win some prizes for it. So just keep that in mind. Official email that actually came in, and here's your winner, Mike Shea. You are the one to win a prize. I'm going to send you a gift card to your favorite theater. If it's AMC, it'll be an AMC gift card. Well, just let me know what it is. But you sent an official email, and your question was, what do you think about the upcoming Men in Black movie? Do you think it's unnecessary, and how do you feel about Hollywood redoing every idea they ever did with a female or an ethnic cast? Look, I've tackled that one a lot before in the past. I don't care about them redoing certain things. There are some movies that I think is unnecessary to do, only because of the obvious backlash. Look what's going on with the whole Brie Larson thing, right? They did the same thing to Wonder Woman. Like the rating was all down when they was clicking the buttons of a thing that you can manipulate even before seeing the movie. And that's exactly what's going on. They haven't even seen the movie yet, and they're trying to make it fail. But they claim they love Marvel. Because is it because she's a woman? No, or just because she said something, and one of those lines could be misconstrued as being something else, and she just said it in the wrong way. But even after she clarified it, then it should have been over. But they're still trying to throw their agenda onto it. There's just too many people out there with agendas, Mike, and people trying to get clicks and making stuff happen. So there's some movies like, Mike, for example, like you'll see on the graphic later on, Michael B. Jordan being cast as the Human Torch, Michael B. Jordan being considered for Superman, Will Smith being considered for Superman. I mean, I've already said, why do these movies like that when you already know the backlash it's going to get you? When there are other characters who are female or black that you could just make a movie about them. There is a character called Icon from the Milestone DC universe that would be perfect for that. Will Smith could do that. That would be great. But are we getting that? No. Michael B. Jordan could play some of the other. I remember Will Smith's son was considered Jaden Smith was talked about for Static. Yeah, I watched that cartoon Static Shock. That's also in the Milestone DCU. I've talked about this extensively. Now, maybe we're talking about the Fast and the Furious thing, how they're going to do a spinoff. They're doing Hobbs and Shaw, and they're going to probably do another spinoff for the female cast for the Fast and Furious movies. To me, that would be awesome. We've already seen all dudes handling business. Let's see what the girls can do. That'd be awesome. You're just gonna get it's just gonna expand the universe. It doesn't take anything away from anything else. So I think it's great. But like certain things, like the Ghostbusters thing, They were just trying something, man. It's not like there's a whole agenda to make everything that once was white now is making it black. I just see that it's just they're finally. I mean, there's more. I mean, you coming from a time when movies were first created, when black people couldn't and women probably couldn't even go into these theaters and watch, so they didn't have to target them. You ain't getting into that theater anyway. It's not in a lot of cases. So we ain't worried about you buying a ticket. You can't buy a ticket, so everybody's gonna look like this. But now it's not like that. It's more and more people who are realizing that there's money to be made over here. That movie Coco, people didn't think that should have been made and whatnot. But look, it crushed, and it was a great story. There's more stories out there to be told that we're not seeing. There's a new horror movie from Hispanic folklore of I forgot what the name of it, but she cries, a woman that cries, and she comes after your children or something like that. I didn't know anything about this story, but this obviously is something that's been heavily going on and been talked about in that country, the urban legend in that culture, in that background that I would have never known about unless they would have taken a chance on it, Hollywood taking a chance on it and letting us see it. And now I'm like, oh, that looks scary. I want to see that. So yes, like I don't have any problem with it. And I'm not just thinking, and plus I got skin in the game. I'm a black guy, dude. I don't want to just see one thing over and over again when I know there's other stories out there. So yes, I want to see a black guy or a woman or a Hispanic guy, an Asian guy get to tell their story or a cool, unique story too. But your question was more targeted about replacing and whatnot. It doesn't matter if it really doesn't matter. Like Superman, he's saying Superman is not a white man. He's not even from Earth. He's an Earthling that just happens. I mean, he's a Kryptonian that just happens to look like Kryptonians. Just from the Kryptonian perspective, they're not white men. Their species just looks like what we call a white man. So it's just, because you know why they did it at the time. Because like I said, it was just the target audience, right? So, but if that's the situation, if there's an alien from another planet that favors or looks like black people or whatever, like the character Icon, but he was a shapeshifter, I think. He chose to look like that. Or if they happen to look like that, then I mean, just fine, just keep it that way. But if they decide to change it, Superman, Kryptonians happen to look like Asian people, and luckily he landed in a country that favors whatever he looks like, right, out there or whatever. Okay, that's called easy storytelling. We're gonna do this in Kansas. Make them look like a person from Kansas. This is easy storytelling. Let's just move this thing along. It was a Brooklyn superhero. This species just happened to look like people from Brooklyn at the time. Like, Brooklyn in the house. No problem. I'll tell you why they did it. It was in the script. That was the storyteller. It was his story. Let him write it. Instead of getting mad about that, more of these writers and stuff from other types of backgrounds and stuff, or other sexes or other ethnicities, should be allowed to come in with these new original stories. And then people who have done this old story and did different renditions of it to death wouldn't have to feel like, I gotta make this guy black and I gotta make this person a woman, and they wouldn't have to do that too much, because then we would be getting all these new original stuff, and then we can just leave Superman alone, or the whole thing with Captain Marvel and all that stuff. It probably wouldn't be happening. But that's just the way I see it. So I don't have a problem with changing stuff, because look, some of these characters aren't technically whatever we see them as anyway. Technically, if you want to get geek plus about it, but I also feel like it ain't worth dying on that sword about, when you have a bunch of original stories out there from other source material that you could be telling. Why worry about making Superman black when you got Icon and Static and Hardware? And don't get me started on rest in peace, Dwayne McDuffie. All right, move on to the next question. Yeah, comes from this. Now this is all YouTube. Like I said, I don't mind getting all these. I'm gonna comment from my YouTube channel and T3 Media's at Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. I'm gonna comment to them all. I try to comment to all of it, but I really want these emails and mail at t3medias.com. But this is Apach003, and he's talking about my recapping of the TV show The Orville. and I was making the whole spectacle about how this was a big ripoff of Star Trek. It was a big, not a ripoff, but a direct attack on Star Trek, and they were going after the Borgs and whatnot. He's corrected me. It's not Borgs. Borgs assimilate. Okay, Kaylons are about destroying. Borgs assimilate. Kaylons destroy. Fine. Okay, busted. I'm not a Star Trek guy. Okay, barely can call me a Star Wars guy. Right? I didn't get into Star Wars until my early 20s. I'm 39 years old now. Right? But in my late teens, early 20s, I got into it more, and I'm a Star Wars kind of guy. But I never really was Star Trek. I used to watch and I used to like that show Enterprise. I loved that show. I thought that was great. But it takes a more updated Star Trek for me to be interested in watching Star Trek, and that's why I like the movies, and that's why I love the Orville, because it feels like a modern, more. It's weird to say because it's so damn ridiculous at a Family Guy level, but it's more. It's more serious because even though they're outrageous, the people are outrageous. And we deal with serious stuff. People deal with serious stuff. I feel like they found a balance of the outrageous and serious and found a perfect platform for it. And that's the Orville, man. And for some reason, I buy that type of future than a lot of the Star Trek stuff. It just seems like that's how we're going to be acting in the future. Just freaking ridiculous, right? So sorry that I didn't know that the Borgs assimilate and the Kaylons destroy. But Isaac's going to have some explaining to do later on tonight. And I'm going to make an announcement on that a little bit later, too. So, surprise is coming after this one. Okay, so the next one comes from John Owens, also from YouTube. He goes, talking about The Dark Knight. Like, Nolan was smart enough not to make Batman franchise with the cinematic universe. Going on to the whole cinematic universe thing. And what's going on now with Batman being taken out of the picture and all that stuff. But he was smart, yeah. But that was also a non-negotiable thing. You want me to direct one of these movies and stuff, make a trilogy for you? Then it's just gonna be. I want to create a world where a Batman, if a rich person with these means wanted to do it, could do it. And just so happens that these villains also arise up at the same time. That means no Superman, no Wonder Woman, no none of that stuff. DC tried. They tried to make him change his mind on that but it would have been Brandon Routh's Superman Returns version. Now Henry Cavill was also in the running to play that in Superman Returns, but it turned out the way it turned out. Would it be weird? What if Brandon Routh would have been our current Superman that we have in the DCEU, and Henry Cavill would be on the CW right now because his career took a turn? Wouldn't that be weird? Imagine that for a second, right? But probably not. All right, the next one comes from Susie Birdo, some 009. Jeb the Janitor? Okay, if anybody of y'all been seeing my recaps lately, and Mr. Star of Truth also says that they need to have this man on the Orville show. On the show, I agree. Jeb the Janitor. I guess I'll do it right now. I said I was gonna wait to the end of it, and no. I'll announce it at the end of this video. Make you wait for it. Yeah, right. Wait for it. So the next one comes from a long one, also about the Orville. This is Kermit Frogger. He says, Captain Ed Mercer should not let Isaac come back for these five reasons. So we was going back and forth about will Isaac Isaac's obviously gonna save the day, and whatnot. And tonight we're gonna see how, right? But he's bringing logic into this. So Isaac is obviously gonna save the day, and he's gonna be allowed to come back into the with arms wide open, because it's in the script. But here's the 5 reasons that Kermit Frogger says he should not be. Officers died upon the Orville because of this relaying info to the rest of the Kaylonites. Number 2, I'm sure the surviving children of those officers who died are traumatized. How would they feel seeing Isaac just walking around after that? Very good point. Was Isaac a part of the genocide slaughter on Kaylon 1? We don't know how old Isaac is or even if its memory banks was transferred into another unit over time. The sentient life on Kaylon 1 most likely had females, children, pregnant females. Try to visualize Isaac walking around and blasting them in schools and cribs and hospitals. It's horrifying. Number 4, even if Isaac wasn't a part of the genocide, it was trying to determine, man, you splitting hairs now. You're like, yeah, he did it, and then, but if he didn't do it, I still hate his ass. Even if Isaac wasn't a part of the genocide, it was trying to determine whether Dr. Claire Finn's children should live or not. That was a logical decision, man, based from a robot's perspective, sir. Covertly along with the rest. So you trying to say that he was trying to sprinkle in a little genocide before the genocide on the Orville? Come on, man. You splitting hairs now. Along with the rest of the crew. That's savage. It is savage, though. but he's an absentee dad. That's like really savage. I mean, Isaac is like, your drawing. Even if Isaac's thoughts were altered during its reactivation, it still knew what its mechanical army would have done and planned on eliminating until billions in the galaxy, trillions. Because a planet can have billions. Look at ours. We're talking trillions of people. If you destroy one planet, that was probably billions right there. You come to Earth, 20, what year is this? You probably already at overpopulation. Maybe they scaled it up, maybe they scaled it down. People can leave, so maybe another 5 billion there. If these things get what they want, we're talking genocide at the trillion level. It's crazy numbers, man. For this fake show that doesn't really exist. Even if Isaac plans to eliminate untold billions in the galaxy, even if Isaac changed its mind, you go, ooh, came down to it. Ooh, that's cold. That's Kermit. You are cold-blooded. Could you eat, sleep, and work with it standing and sitting next to you? Maybe I couldn't. But the people in the Orville are more evolved than we are nowadays. They're more tolerant. Maybe. But I co-signed on this one. I answered him. I told him. I said, hey, look, the only problem that I have with this theory is that Isaac being a robot 100% in the beginning, it's like blaming a toaster for shocking someone. The toaster can't be blamed for how it was designed and created. But when Isaac became sentient and had a conscience, then he was able to redeem. He was able to stop when he realized what he was doing. Because you're a robot. You can't go against your programming. You can't. You're going to be programmed to do what you do. But if my Xbox realized that I wasn't playing to my fullest extent, my ability, and would refuse to allow me to play PUBG until I did better because I suck, then that's on it. I mean, I couldn't blame it for allowing me to play because he's doing what I was making it do. But if it woke up one day and was like, Chris, you suck, from that moment, it was no longer my stupid nothing Xbox. It's now its own living thing, blocking me from playing my games that I would probably throw in the trash because you blocking you a damn cock blocker. But that's what I was saying. So from that point, when he became sentient and really cared and really understood what feelings are, that's when he's going to redeem himself. It's not even necessarily redeeming himself. That will be the day he wakes up. Everybody's been talking to Isaac as if he wasn't a robot. They've been trying, and that's what human beings do. This thing can walk and talk and think and stand on its own. So we must force a sentient or love within it. And we get mad at the robot for not knowing that Dr. Finn wanted to, climb that dildo that thinks is what I called him and whatnot. It's a robot. But the second he started to realize I do care, and you never notice those pauses. Every one of those times that Isaac was holding a piece of paper or looking like he was thinking and thought, even though he thinks that trillions of times faster than we do, but he took the time to stop for a few seconds and really ponder something. He's struggling with that's feelings being put into his heart. And that's what's happening. That's not why he's not deciding to do it in a millisecond. He's still a slave to his programming, and then in real time, in human time, struggling with real feelings that are coming from nothing and like a big bang exploding. So from that moment when he makes a final decision that's when he's gonna. And I said he'll. So the second Isaac decides to go against this programming, and will be the moment he actually gains a soul, kind of like how Spike from the Buffy TV show earned his soul. Not it wasn't just thrown on him like that punk ass Angel. Spike went out there and got that stuff like that from the Buffy Vampire Slayer series. That was me. That was my response to it. That's how I see it. But then Kermit co-signed after that a couple of days later. However, let's see. I think he went on for a while, but I ain't gonna do it. However, I believe with all their mechanic parts, what's driven them to destroy is fear. But fear of what? Yes, fear of being turned off. I mean, the second you become sentient and self-aware, you don't want to be shut down. That's death. They feel like they have more to give to the galaxy, so they don't want to be turned off. Their need to expand is because they want to evolve without impediment. Too much, some new transformations. Those 2 points are emotions. And he said, and then someone else co-signed. Somebody else got into it, man. Star Trek Theory got into it. Kermit. I'm liking the show because the more I think about the robots wanting to kill everyone, the more I'm disgusted with the fanboy support everyone has for the interracial sex episode a while back. What outrage about interracial sex? Can you honestly tell me that Flynn's boys wouldn't be better off with one of the black red shirts? No, because the red shirts get killed. That got killed as a father figure. Why are you see now? I'm gonna put the tinfoil hat on. Star Trek Theory. Why are you trying to force black folks to be raised without a dad? I mean, my dad wasn't in the picture for me, and you right there. I would probably have rather have had Isaac. If my mom was never gonna find anybody else, which she eventually did, she's with a great guy. But if let's say she never was gonna find somebody, or found Isaac first, and let's just take away the whole genocide thing first. Let's just say robot talking dildo that thinks for the rest of her life. I would have rather that than nothing. Because I felt like I needed somebody. And my uncles and stuff came into the picture a lot, so that filled the void up and whatnot. But I could have been those statistics that would have went out and did some bad stuff and trying to get a father figure like that. I would have rather that than nothing at all. And I would have rathered Isaac than a guy who's destined to die, one of those red shirt guys. Hell no. Why? I can have Isaac forever. Or a dude that's destined to die. Why put that on that dude? Give me a random black guy. Here's his red shirt. You're going to die in about a week. But you better love my mom and then teach me how to throw the ball before you die. Why would you do that to him? That's just weird. Now who's the genocidal guy now? It seems like it's you, Star Trek Theory. Shame. Can you honestly tell me the Finn's boys wouldn't have been better off with a black red shirt that got killed as a father figure? Yes, I can. I'm a black guy telling you this. Dude, what is up with you? But the ability to evoke emotions is what makes these shows good. So I gotta give it that. I'll say so. You kind of. I think you kind of gave it to Isaac at the end of it, but that was kind of weird, dude. And then Ben's Wise co-signed on Kermit. Isaac also withheld information of the genocide from the Union and the Orville leadership. They was never really a part. This was a trial to decide to join. That was the ruse. That's what his programming told him to do. He boarded the ship with the invaded force that killed people who attacked his going away party. He was not pictured killing anyone, of course. In my opinion, how can Claire and how can she bring her boys back to someone involved in invading the ship and is complicit in any way in his programming, in death in those crewmates? The way the writers wrote it, Isaac has not resisted the rest of the Kaylons, or he was seeming under the influence of them programming. Neither speak to Isaac. There's no free will, ability to act independently. He's gaining free will. Claire's kids and them seeing the bodies of the rest of the reside. Why are y'all painting these gruesome scenes? They probably didn't see. They have seen people get killed before. This is the future. After all these video games that we're exposing ourselves and these kids to nowadays, you don't think 200 years in the future they're gonna like another one bites the dust? They don't care. They have a hologram room where you can slice up a dude or have sex with it. They don't care. They simulate alcohol and they got drunk. These kids are living a sweet life right now, man. They don't care. I wonder how they would not associate that death with Isaac and the Kaylons. You bring up additional points. Yes, you are right. Children and the pregnant women. You see any pregnant women? Oh, were most likely victims of the genocide if it happened. I think the writers would have Isaac credited after the genocide to free it or distant it from any sins of that or taint it. Possibly. That's one way to disassociate yourself. I never myself partook. I'm a new unit. I'm a new evolved unit that was created way after that genocide. But I knew it. I knew of it. Surprise! I see that. That's one good way. There you go. There's one good way around it. I think Isaac was just collecting data on the Orville. I believe he found out about the Kaylons plan. No, there's no way. Because he said, "Are we going forward with the?" He knows there was no reason not to tell him. It's in his programming. You don't say anything about this because he knows the truth about the Kaylons' history. So he was programmed not to reveal it. So he knew. Plans. Funny how the Kaylons condemn biologicals from certain behaviors, but they engage in it themselves. No, they don't see it as a robot wouldn't see it as genocide because they don't. I mean, do you see it as a homicide or a genocide when you step on an ant, when you kill a cockroach? I'm sure the cockroach has some feelings about that shit. But but if you are so evolved above, you don't care. They are flies. Human beings are probably flies to these people. And they tell them every day, in the beginning of that episode, oh yes, this is correct. I am way smarter than you. But only Isaac will save the day, perhaps by his adaptive programming, which is what I said. But I'm likely to trust or like Isaac less. But that's what I always say. Yeah, you can forgive you. I'm gonna watch you. But I was suspicious given all the prior science fiction stories of an android from the start, given why androids have a humanoid form. Humanoids often create them in their own image. That I thought the same thing. Why is Isaac taking a humanoid form if it's a world? It had to have started violent. I assume maybe either they were created and then their creators died, or they agreed to, like the way we a limb gets ripped off and we put a robot arm up in there or something like that. Eventually, intelligent creatures eventually probably will evolve themselves into mechanical, only to prolong their life and to keep their stories. We send drones out in space. We don't send that many people out there to die. We send drones. So this is Earth, and that satellite is still out there sending a message and the coordinations to our planet, to be found one day, right? Or it might get hit by an asteroid someday and get blown up. Hopefully, I don't want that. But we send drones out. So either they became robotic later on in life, which is what I think Isaac explained it, or they died. And the robots are what's left. It's the only two ways to have it happen. Either we voluntarily put our brains into these things and we live on like that, or eventually become 100% robots, or we die. And because the robots killed us, or we just died because we knew we were going to die. Something tragic probably happened to the planet. Walking around and talking about having a home planet but not sharing much information about its history was very suspect. And I had to, because he went on for a long time, so I didn't want to co-sign too much. And Kermit co-signs after that and gets on by. Thanks for replying, man. Ben Wise. Side note, I hope writers don't eliminate the new security chief, Talia, to bring in Laura. It would be an awesome. I hope the writers don't eliminate the new security. I would be an awesome story, but I would have to stop watching it for a while. So I guess he started talking about bringing Alia back. I don't think she's coming back. And I think Talia has more got us involved enough. I think I care for her now. Number one, true. Isaac didn't physically kill anyone, but he helped orchestrate it. Number two, I agree on the human level. Isaac should have resisted. Why? He's a dildo that thinks. Why are you putting so much human stuff on this robot who's creating it himself? Let the man evolve on his own time. He sees his girlfriend and children in danger. He's not going to let that shit happen. I think Isaac, the second he started caring about those people, he knew that stopping this invasion was not possible. Because look how fast they were able to turn them off. But I think without telling them, he couldn't, and he couldn't warn the Orville about it, because look how fast they turned him off. And if they would have did that, then that means, and as advanced, and people look at the Orville was afraid to even go down there. And they were like, look, we'll just leave, and look, like the Union is afraid of the Kaylons for good reason. They don't need to eat, they don't need to sleep, they just make weapons, and they're intelligent. They probably have 10,000 billion ways of defeating the Union and whatnot. This is why they want them to work with, and now, so Isaac warning them from the beginning. For all you know, they were monitoring Isaac's speeches and thoughts and stuff like that. So he probably was keeping his stuff in check and whatnot. Because if he would have pre-warned them, who knows, that could have caused that send a couple of missiles out there to destroy Earth altogether. You don't know what it would have caused. We'll probably find out today, but we don't know, man. So give Isaac a pass. You keep forcing all this stuff on Isaac, man. Let's just see what the writers said. Let me skip ahead a little bit. Number 3, if you're referring to when Claire verbally pushed Isaac to sing their children last time on the Orville, I do understand Claire. She wanted her 2 kids to have closure. Children don't think like adults. From their perspective, they saw a father die, but to hear it lived and didn't want to see them would have been more damaging. Yeah. And yeah, just like what I said, Jeb the Janitor found that picture that Isaac dropped on the floor. He said, "Oh, your punk ass robot dad don't like you no more. Here you go, little lightning bug. He just dropped it on the floor right there." Yeah, deal with that. If Isaac were created afterwards, then it helps to smidge it. That's like I said, to acceptance. But Isaac knew about the genocide. Yep, that's exactly. He just co-signed exactly what I said, and he went on for a minute about it, so you guys can read that for yourselves. I can't read all that. Ben Wisely responded back and said, regarding number 3, I'm actually talking about Claire possibly reconsidering being with Isaac in the future, which I think will happen, of course, because it's a love story. Your point, Isaac's behavior has created concern and trauma thus far for a while. The writers will reconcile the two, an emotional erase of many in the audience. I'll be left questioning the rational. Why? It's just a TV show. Regarding number 7, if it was all out war, if the Union needs those space orcs who were kicking Krill Heine. Oh man, y'all went far on these cosigns, man. Back to Ben Wise, I agree. It's still 40% comedy, so he could return with too much of a ruckus. And then Zoran. Okay. And that was the end of it. So, oh man, look, guys, Isaac is just a robot, man. That's what he was from day one. He couldn't go against his programming. And for all we know, if he did from the very beginning, it would have caused a massive attack, which the Orville probably would have lost. These guys think on a whole different level. We would have to have created robots like those things to fight against those things, which could have backfired if they would have taken over. It's too many problems. So Isaac keeping this mission on the down low and then secretly getting feelings for us is probably, look at Endgame. Look at Doctor Strange seeing that one. This was probably the one outlet where we only win, one scenario where we could win. Isaac has probably already deduced that one possible way we could win. And I'm sorry, Redcoats, it means a lot of y'all got to die. But That's why I'm not wearing that red outfit, man. It's just stupid. Look. All right, so the next one comes from Zoran. I think everyone is missing the point. The real question is, going to Liam Neeson. Is Liam Neeson racist? Should he be canceled? But can a man change? Should we demonize someone who seeks redemption? Redemption through confession, because it can lead to more interesting questions. Can a society change? That's the last technical difficulty. He had question. Liam Neeson said that he had a friend who got raped and had a thought of finding a guy who fit the description. He said it wouldn't matter what the description was. Whatever she said it was, is what he would have been looking for. Look, the person that raped his friend was a black guy. So back in the day, he was looking for a black guy to kill. And then luckily he didn't find one that got in his face to do it. And before too long, a week later, he's like, "This is stupid. I shouldn't do this to myself." And he was talking about what rage does to people. Liam Neeson is lucky that this sucks that this is the way I'm thinking about it, because if it wasn't for Jussie Smollett's dumbass thing that he's probably going to be found guilty of doing, a much more racist thing, right? We're talking about Liam Neeson thinking about hurting a black guy because he was black, for the revenge of a friend of his, and whatnot, and then stopping himself from making that mistake. We're now talking about a black guy who actually defrauding the police and filing false police reports and ginning up a bunch of already stirred up hate against blacks and gays. From a black gay man. Man, I couldn't write this story better. So Liam Neeson's probably at home like, woo, man, I'm glad they ain't talking about me no more, because I was in trouble. Sorry, Jesse. Got to take one for the team. Got to go. See you when I see you. So yeah, Liam Neeson is probably like, whoo, that was close. Only in America. Only in America. But yeah, kind of off the hook, ain't he? Kind of a little bit off the hook right there, ain't he? But look, what Liam Neeson did was he thought about hurting somebody and he didn't do it, so it's good. He would have, man. Dude, could you imagine that story was different? I found a black guy and I killed him. What? Now that's something that I couldn't. I thought about doing it. I went out seeking it. And it never happened. But there's nobody's talking about it no more, right? We've already moved on. This story isn't juicy enough. Jussie Smollett, he did something. Let's get him. R. Kelly, some new evidence. Let's form Voltron. Attack! They're moving on to the more sexier story. Liam Neeson's gonna be fine. Ain't nobody worried about Liam Neeson no more. Forgiven. Let me know what you guys think, man. Like I said, look, if you want to send a question to me, I would appreciate it if it's in the official capacity. Mail at t3medias.com. Send it in. Let me know what you guys think. And till next time, guys. Peace. Whoa. Hey, before I forget, am I even wearing the same clothes? Doesn't even matter. Movie magic. Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. Like if you like, share if you care, comment for a compliment, subscribe to the tribe, and if you want to know more about how you can send me a message and be a part of We Got Your Mail, that's coming up right here. Check this out.